What's up, everybody? Thank you for joining us back with another edition of the Gentleman Gorilla Small Business Marketing Podcast. Today, I'm joined by the lovely Sydney Schmall.
Hi.
Did I say that right?
Yes, you
Perfect. She's the owner of Flossy, a influencer marketing tool for small businesses that originally started with dental offices, correct?
Yes.
And now you're expanding into a wider breadth.
Yeah,
Perfect.
absolutely.
I love it. Well, can you please introduce yourself to the people and tell us a little bit more about your company?
Yeah, so hey everyone, I'm Sydney and I am the CEO of Flossy. It originated as a dental marketing tool and a dental marketing company, and it's kind of grown into more of a comprehensive branding agency. And so essentially, we really use Instagram marketing and influencer marketing and branding as comprehensive strategies to teach clients about content creation and the necessity of brand inflation and brand viability. So,
Okay.
and brand validation. So we use, psychological ideologies to teach our clients the reason why looking good online is very important in order for people to believe in your brand and want to ultimately purchase.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, there's just a lot to that. I mean, when you think like influencer marketing, you really just like even me being in marketing, you think of it more as just being like, all right, we're just going to pay some people to post for us that have a reach and then hope it comes back on us. So you're saying that there's way more that goes on, way more purpose behind that.
Yeah.
So what did you list off? You list brand identification, brand validation.
Yeah, so it's basically brand validation. It's your brand story, which is, as a marketer, that's so important. It's promoting your brand via influencers, which we like to call is kind of the new word of mouth like marketing strategy, especially since social media usage has risen 70% during COVID. You really want to reach your potential clients where they're at, and it's on their phones. So, making sure that your Instagram page for your brand is really highlighting the best qualities, and also utilizing people in the community that are influential, that would be able to promote it, in exchange of services or sometimes payment as well.
Nice.
Yeah.
I love that. So what kind of clients do you work with? Because I know that there's probably some industries where it's more valuable to have a brand forward company versus others. Have you found kind of different industries that you've worked with that are better for brands or for using influencer marketing?
Yeah, so I work with a wide range of clients. I have a couple financing, like large financing giants that I'm now branding online. I'm working with a bunch of dentists. We originated as a dental marketing company, and dentists never have a good brand. So
That's an uphill battle from the start.
Yes, it is. But we love it. We like to really transform everything about a client from the moment we grasp onto the project to potentially the moment that we pass it along, and so, yeah, I have restaurant clients, we have boutique clients, we have salons, we have product clients as well. So it's really across the board, and it just all boils down to whatever business you have, you need to make sure it looks good and streamlined online, so that people actually care to engage with your company or buy your product.
Nice. Yeah, you resonate with me with saying like it looks good and streamlined online. One of the things that I always push when working with growing companies is that basically using like a unified sales language. So, and I know that in branding, this is a very important topic, is just making sure that like your font is the same on everything, like that you have your color codes down.
Right.
And it's the way that you say things as well. Like you can't have somebody like at the front end of your sales process going out and using like describing your products in one way, and then you get into like the website and it's a different way, or you get into like a sales channel and you're talking with people on the phone So that creates confusion,
Right.
which creates distrust,
Mm-hmm.
which means you lost the client.
Exactly.
So creating that unified front, definitely important. I
Right.
definitely see that. And I see it with so many companies that just, I don't think they even have an idea that that's something that they're supposed to be doing.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of business owners that, they're focusing on pushing their business forward or their product forward, or, in the medical world, people are literally, doing procedures. And so I think that marketing is often lost and branding is often lost, more so than marketing. And so our whole purpose is really teaching people the importance and the psychology behind, marketing and consumerism.
Yeah, you were telling me before we started that you studied psychology, right?
I
Like
did.
neuropsychology?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
So I went to UC Santa Cruz. I graduated in 2016, and I studied intensive psychology. So intensive psychology is more hands-on than the normal major, and I did a lot of field work. So you were required to have internships. You were required to go out in the field in the specific industry that you thought that you wanted to do. But my love of psychology really stemmed from my childhood, and then also in high school back in Fresno, I went to a kind of preparatory, like high school for college, that you essentially got to create or choose your own major. And this was in addition to your normal high school. It was called CART. So I'll send this video to them.
CART?
Yeah, it's Center for Advanced Research and Technology.
That's pretty neat.
It's very cool, yeah. And so you go to your normal high school for 4 periods, and then you go to the Center for Advanced Research and Technology for the last 4 periods, and you choose a major. So my major was psychology, and I had a neuropsychology class within that psychology major. And it was so, so interesting to me because we were learning the psychology of, every book that you're supposed to read in high school, and we would analyze it and things like that, and it was fascinating. But then I learned the neuropsychology aspect of it, and how, dopamine and serotonin are the happy hormones, and all of these different things that chemically work in your body to want to make you then either buy, or you're fearful, or things like that. So that kind of was my origination of my love of psychology.
So you said though that it started when you were a child. So then you went into the CART
I
and then
did.
you chose psychology.
I
So
did.
what was it from your childhood, if you don't mind my asking, that really kind of spurred?
Yeah, so that is a funny question.
I love
honestly,
funny questions.
yeah, it was kind of a mess of a home life. And I had a phenomenal psychologist that my family would see to really mediate and make sure that my sister and I were doing well through a divorce and things like that. And so she was influential in my life. She literally saw me grow up from 5 to 18 years old, and she played a very important role in my self-understanding and really understanding the world and how the world affects you. And so she was the ultimate person that really made me want to go into psychology. But then once, I took that class in high school, I was just really in love with it. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Well, that's a pretty good reason. I suppose having having anything in your life that kind of shakes your foundation or your understanding of the way things should be operating would kind of open you up to the idea of, okay, so what about this made all of this happen?
Right.
Why did my whole life just change?
Right. I overanalyze everything. So, yeah.
Yeah, you and me both.
Absolutely. I think that good marketers and good branding agencies, that should be their number one focus, is understanding the audience and understanding, the gaps within the niche or the field that they're in, and really working to, fix problems. Like for us, we started out with dental marketing. There's a huge gap with medical professionals and a brand, and they're understanding that, yes, you can use SEO and PPC and all these things, but that doesn't mean really anything unless you look good online and you humanize your brand and things like that. So yeah, we definitely saw a gap in the market, and we're working to fill that gap. But also, we understand that so many business owners don't know how to brand or understand influencer marketing, understand content marketing, understand brand inflation. So we're really kind of taking a millennial and trendy approach to it, and allowing people to understand that the reason why famous people, online continue to be famous is because they're already pre-approved by millions of other people, so that's what we try to teach.
Yeah, I mean, product validation is definitely the most powerful way to sell a service or a product.
Right, agreed.
It follows the just basic rule of you're more likely to buy something from somebody referring something to you than directly from the horse's mouth.
Right.
So, I mean, it provides validation. It just says, like, okay, one other person believed in this.
Right.
One other person, at least, said that this was a good idea and liked it. So the chances are much better that I'm going to like it as well.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. On that note, we teach a lot of our clients about brand validation, and a lot of people don't understand that having a strong like count, having a strong comment count, and having a strong follower ratio is very important to enhance buyability. Like, obviously, we're a branding agency, so we are fully in support of making you guys look as tailored as you can, so that people actually care to engage. So with a lot of our dental clients and, salon clients, so many different industries, really, we try to humanize the brand instead of just pushing like products on their page. And we do that through influencer marketing. So we're creating content. And we also kind of make the CEO of that company into a thought leader within their space, because people, will find it to be a value add following your page rather than just seeing, a cool shirt that you're trying to push from Amazon, so.
That's definitely been a strong trend we've noticed, is people are more likely to follow like the CEO or a leader or leaders of a company than the actual company page itself.
Yep, absolutely.
It's like my brand, like I have my company Instagram, but that's basically just like memes and examples of work.
Exactly.
But like my page gets tremendous engagement.
Right.
Like if I post something on my page versus the company page, which, to be honest, I've been building my page for way longer, so
Yeah.
it should be getting way more engagement.
Right.
But even if you're comparing like numbers to numbers and you're just doing your engagement rate, which if you don't know how to do an engagement rate, it's you take the number of followers and then you add your likes and your comments and your shares, and then you subtract your own comments and then you divide it into it. And if you have a 3 to 5% engagement rate, you're doing good.
Nice. Love it.
Yeah. So basic engagement rate. But my engagement rate on my personal versus the business, way better.
Yeah.
Because there's a human aspect to it, I think.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Like, there's 1,000 marketing companies that share the same memes and infographics and all that shit. Like, I don't put really any stock into that.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. And it's so important, especially, in every industry, but the way that we started out is dental marketing and medical marketing. And these doctors are often shy. They don't have time to do any marketing at all because they're physically working with patients.
They're doing their job.
They're doing their job. Yes, I love it. But yeah, so we saw, literally a 180 flip from when their page was all these stupid dental memes to when it was actually, okay, who are you going to be interacting with at the front desk? You know, who is your dentist? Who is your doctor? Who is your nail artist? Your lash artist? You know, before and afters, things like that. So, like you mentioned before, people love seeing photos of other people, you know, and really Facebook and Instagram do a really good job of creating a community. And so everything about branding is creating a community. And once your community understands your brand, then they become raving fans, and then referrals happen. So it's definitely, you know, something that can be looked over, something that could be, you know, stock images thrown at, but it's actually negative, has a negative impact on branding rather than, you know, taking the time to do original content creation and, you know, even influencer marketing within whatever niche, because they'll create content for you. So.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, there's so much that goes into it. I've been playing the content game card for a little bit on social media. I'd say up until about a year ago, before Instagram changed their algorithms again, it was basically like who could put out the most content. Like that was the game.
Yeah.
So like I created, I call it just a content creation system, where basically I would decrease costs by increasing basically the crowdsourcing aspects. So I'd bring in like 3 to 5 companies, like product companies, whether it was like an apparel line, like a cannabis product, or like a model themselves, and you'd basically go on one shoot with multiple photographers and multiple models and just shoot everything in like a few hours.
I love it.
Because in that industry, time is what you pay for. So
Right.
you can lessen the time, you can lessen the cost.
Right.
And so since basically marketing was turn and burn for a while there, like who can just put out the most good high quality content, that was the game. And so it worked really well for a while until overnight Instagram just played their game, and then the rules changed. And then now it's all about people engaging with each other and like kind of showing like what's happening on the inside and sharing stories and tagging people in stories. And you're basically just creating like an SEO web, a traditional SEO web, like you would with your website.
Backlinking.
Yeah, crazy, right?
Yeah,
it's
literally.
Almost, I think they've almost made it easier to understand for people, and less expensive.
Right.
By doing so, because now you can post less frequently, like on your main page, and for like big expensive content, because people now want to see like right now, I'm going to tell you exactly what kind of people like. I'm just going to be like, here, I'm going to take a story photo of you being like, here you go, here's what's happening right now. See that? And then I'm just going to go at Flossie IO. And I should probably tag yours,
Schmall talk.
And Schmall talk.
Strong brand there.
And Schmall talk.
Small talk. Schmall talk.
Oh, I get it.
Yeah.
You're clever.
Yeah.
Air high five.
I know, right?
She's brave enough coming here during the COVID to actually do my first one-on-one podcast.
I did bring my organic hand sanitizer that I made myself.
Ooh, I have some instant over there.
Perfect.
I don't know if it's organic, but can anything really be organic if it's made with alcohol?
You know, that's a great question. Is that organic alcohol? So
I don't know, because that's very processed.
Organic, or it was organic aloe vera and stuff. So
we made our own hand sanitizer in an episode for Shore Buddy Show here a few months ago.
That's
like a stuffed
very
animal
relevant
company.
content.
Yeah, it was really good because they're aiming for kids.
Love it.
I got to finish this. Flossie IO and Schmall Talk.
Yes.
Here, doing the podcast thing. And then you know what you do? This is really easy. So then she takes this. Super flattering photo, by the way. You're gonna love it.
Great.
I mean, compared to the highly touched stuff, like professional looking photos that you normally post.
Oh,
you do a good job with your marketing, by the way.
I
with your own
appreciate
branding.
that.
I've always respected that about you.
Thank you. Yeah, I love color. I love, happiness. I'm like a very positive person. So for me, color psychology is huge. And so when you visit my page, it's going to be kind of like an eye shock almost because there's so much color and vibrance going on. And I like to smile a lot in my photos. So, keep it positive, keep the brand.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
I love that.
streamlined.
Well, it's like my colors are opposites, red and blue,
Cool.
as far as the psychological effects.
Yeah.
Right? So, this fucking fly, he snuck in earlier, just right through the gap. I saw a meme the other day of like flies getting into your house, and it's one like doing a dive like through a tiny ring. It's like flies trying to get out of your house, was like bouncing off the walls next to your door. It's like
So
every
good.
time they'll sneak in, but then they can't get back out.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the psychology of colors, that's an interesting concept. It's something that, again, I don't think a lot of people understand has so much meaning.
Yeah, for
It's
sure.
like blue gives like a calming, euphoric feeling,
Yep.
makes you feel like everything's going to be okay,
Right.
almost wraps you in like a nice blanket,
Right.
kind of like how the ocean makes you feel.
Yep.
Weird. Green makes you feel energetic and happy.
Right.
It makes you feel like anything is possible. It's also trash day. Sorry about that, everybody. Hopefully he's done on the street. So just like if you were to go out and look in nature, and then red, anger,
Right.
warning, blood, like where does red come from?
Right.
So like having the red and the blue mixed, it's almost a contradiction, and it kind of confuses you, but at the same time generates like a thought process in your head of like, wait, this doesn't make sense. Let's ask a follow-up question.
I love that. Yeah, very good. We use a lot of, obviously for medical marketing, you want everything to be as calming as possible. So when I'm going through the branding process with, startup clients, we ask them, what are things that resonate with them or within their area, but also we try to steer them away from any kind of reds or oranges or even green, like in the dental space or yellow, like you kind of associate it with like yellow teeth or like, I don't know. So oftentimes you'll want to use blues for the calming effect and things like that. So
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. God, like autumn colors, that makes me think of like an old person home. Like let's do like oranges and browns
Yeah.
and yellows.
Right,
And
right,
greens.
right.
Like, oh man, that like hospital green. Ugh, that's
Yeah.
the worst. Where did they come up with that color? Who decided on that?
I have no idea. But yeah, it's definitely an eyesore.
What is, I'm curious, I don't know if you have one that'll pop to mind, but what is like a brand that you've taken on? And I'm sure it's happened where like you just see what the branding that they've done.
I'm sorry, what is that? Oh, the garbage truck.
Garbage trucks. Fucking reminder to myself, don't do podcasts on Wednesday afternoons.
Whoops.
That's all right. You learn something every day. Yeah, so I'm sure like through your work, like you've worked with brands and like you've taken them on and you just see their branding and you're just like, dear God.
Yeah.
Like who made these decisions and do they still work for you because they shouldn't?
Yeah.
Have you had somebody like that?
I've had many people like that. Yeah.
Without naming names, can you like tell us a little bit about your experience doing
Yeah.
it?
So for me, I found that, oh gosh, there's so many people doing this. I work with a lot of software companies, and software companies don't understand that being on Instagram and like branding themselves is beneficial for the actual company to succeed because, like you said, a lot of people follow CEOs and they want to build rapport and really trust the product that they're now taking on. So there's one, there's so many. There's a handful of companies, platforms that I've worked with, and they thought just posting infographics would be a good idea. Whereas they literally have, probably a million users because they're a software product and their reach is huge. And I started looking up their reviews on Google, and then I tried to find these people on Instagram, and so many of their clients were like really cool and had super cool companies and had really awesome photos. And I'm like, these are the people you should be showcasing on your Instagram because people need to see themselves in your brand. They need to see themselves in your product. If you're a software and even like financing or literally anything, people need to understand how utilizing your product can positively affect their life. And so, I'm taking on a new client, actually August 1st, and they're a really cool financing company. They do medical financing, and one of their largest clients is a med spa. And, so we are creating the brand story around kind of a trendy med spa ideology, because who we're bringing back to their Instagram page are going to be other med spas. And so you want to catch the eye of people that are in super trendy, med spas every day, using influencer marketing, things like that. And it's also super important to just humanize your brand. Like, it doesn't matter if you're a stuffy bank or if you're a super stuffy, like, SaaS platform. Like, you still need to humanize your brand and let people know, if you buy our product, here's what you can do with your life. So, using success stories, and it's kind of a twofold concept. Like, you can use influencers from your brand, and, ask them for a Google review, but then also use that Google review to then tag them on Instagram and create kind of a lifetime customer, because you're seeing their value that they're giving your product, and they're saying, like, your product has helped me tremendously, and you're giving back, and you're saying, well, you guys did a super awesome job using our product, so we want to showcase you. So yeah, that's one of the ways that any brand can humanize and create a community around, their Instagram and their product. So
I love it.
yeah.
It sounds like you definitely know what you're talking about in the industry, which is a very, I guess, refreshing change of pace for me, dealing with somebody that does like influencer marketing. I feel that it's such a new and emerging industry that there's a lot of confusion about it. There's a lot of, I feel like there's a lot of like snake oil companies out there, like the guy that stands on the street corner, like peddling his wares, being like, buy from me, I promise results.
Right.
Like there's a lot of that in the air because it's a new industry.
Right.
So there's not really a lot of understanding on how it works. But the numbers coming from the industry are undeniable. Like we're seeing massive amounts of investments from companies large to small. We're seeing massive amounts of commerce being done on social media, and influencers playing a huge role.
Right.
And I know that over the last couple of years, like it used to be like find somebody with the most followers, and then that's the way it works. And then there kind of was like a transition shift, which I think kind of came with the fall of Hollywood over the last few years, where people don't trust celebrities anymore. So now you're looking for like the micro influencers.
Absolutely.
And that now there's going to be like a fine line between like them having enough followers, but then their engagement, and then like how much in line they are with your brand.
Right.
So I guess kind of following that note, what would you say to me? So like, let's just say you're pitching my company.
Okay.
And basically I'm like, I don't understand this. Like, why am I going to give you, what are your services? Like $3,000, $4,000 a month, something like that? Which tells me, A, like, you're ballsy enough to charge that much right off the bat, because most startup companies aren't.
Yeah.
So that tells me that you know what you're talking about, that you can back up your work with results.
Right.
And that you can help take my company to the next level.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, like, let's say you've just given me the whole presentation, which you basically just did.
Okay.
And I'm basically, like, on the edge. Like, what are you going to tell me? Like, what are the benefits of doing influencer marketing for, let's just say, for my marketing company? Like, I'm marketing to bars and restaurants. Like, I want to get bar and restaurant clients as a marketing company. Like, I'm kind of interested to think.
You want to get bar and restaurant clients as a marketing company. Okay.
And so, like, I'm basically, like, on the fence. Like, you've told me all of the intro stuff. Like, this is what it is. Like, this is what influencer marketing is.
Yeah.
Like, how would you show me how it's going to benefit me, I guess, just to kind of explain the process of influencer marketing to everybody.
Yeah, I mean, I think that for a marketing company to go out and get, bar and restaurant clients, if you were working with, restaurant CEO giants here in San Diego, and they basically gave you the gold star of approval, that yes, his marketing is awesome, that speaks volumes, because they are a highly recognized and highly influential person within the community, And so for me, if you were promoting, or if you had people promoting your services, like the Firehouse Group, or Ironside Group, really beautiful and awesome concepts like that, that that speaks volumes, because you don't have to then kind of have a very schemy like sales pitch and do a lot of work to close the client. You can literally say, hey, this super awesome person that you already know gives me the gold star of approval, so that, why would you not take a flyer on me?
Yes.
And then, you back it up with your results. So, yeah, I mean, I think that you'll love this, but I tell I tell my clients, influencer marketing can also be a method of guerrilla marketing. And so you can utilize, and it's all about psychology. You can reach out to all these different micro influencers, or, mommy bloggers, or really anyone that might be a thought leader within your space. And you can basically stroke an ego and say, okay, we would like you to be an influencer for our brand. And then when you bring them into your store, or, you provide them with product, something like that, your product is going to do the sales for you. And then once they see the product, you can also upsell them on an additional product. So I think that gone are the days of influencer marketing where it's, you get a Kylie Jenner and she like blasts it all over the place. Like, she's not accessible. That's very silly, and actually statistics show that the larger the influencer, the less reach and the less effectiveness the campaign will have. So you are looking for these micro influencers that really fit your perfect idea of a client, and that you can eventually turn into a client. So, for example, I just worked with Melanie, oh my God, I cannot say her name, Melanie Malone. I, did some.
Who is Melanie Malone?
Melanie Malone is a physician in La Jolla.
Okay.
And so she's a plastic surgeon. She does rhinoplasty. She does Botox. She does fillers, all these different things. So I was able to go to her and do some fillers with her. And I had always wanted that done. And, I'm definitely going to be a lifetime client of hers because of how professional she was. Her office space was phenomenal, and so the fact that I had the opportunity to go and essentially try her out via a product exchange at first has turned me into a lifetime customer. And I had tremendous amount of people on my own Instagram asking me about her services. We set up a discount code, and so it worked really well. And so a lot of brands need to see influencer marketing as kind of a guerrilla marketing tactic. Like, you're creating a sales funnel through your influencer. And through your influencer program, if you have product that is relatively cheap to give away, give it away. And, make that a part of your marketing budget, because the reach and the promotion that the influencers are going to do for you is phenomenal. If they post on their own page, that's phenomenal. If they post on their stories, cool, not as great as a static post, but still it's promoting you. But you can literally turn that person into a customer of yours. Or they have a lot of people, you basically found your perfect influencer, and they have a lot of, of their Instagram followers messaging you about then going to the same place and getting services or getting the same product. So I like to tell people that it's all about brand promotion, and it's all about creating a sales funnel through your influencers that you're working with. A lot of times people are like, oh, show me the stats. How many people, did they bring in? yes, I understand ROI is extremely important, but when you're using influencer marketing as a branding play, it can be equally as important because you can literally, for example, you know, with dentists, we give away teeth whitening. We contact micro influencers. We ask them about, their experience with dental offices. We ask them if they want to come in for a free chairside whitening, and we give it to them. And then when they're in the dental chair, you can now upsell them and talk to them about other issues that the doctor might be seeing. And it's literally a guaranteed sale because you're one tacking on the name of influencer, which many people have never received that title and probably will never receive that title. So that's your initial ego boost, and that automatically makes people want to work with you more. So you've elevated that person and put them on a pedestal. Then you bring them in and you give them a super cool free service. Once again, you're elevating yourself in that person's mind, your influencer's mind. Now you have the opportunity, because they're physically in front of you, to sell them on a different service. And you've already created the basis of a great relationship. 10 out of 10 times they're going to follow through. They're going to continue to work with you because, the relationship from the very start was really beneficial for them, honestly. So, yeah, I don't know. I think influencer marketing is psychology. It's all about psychology. And if people are like, show me the dang ROIs, it's kind of like, you don't really get it then. Yes, you definitely can show ROIs and you can absolutely show sales via a tracking link and affiliate code and things like that. But people need to understand the importance of the branding aspect of getting essentially free content for your own page, which is fantastic, getting, free or low cost promotion for your page. And then also, if you have a physical location, getting them literally in front of you. If you didn't have an influencer campaign, that person would never be in front of you.
So would you say that so let's say you went out and got 10 influencers, would you say that influencers would be like relatable to fishing poles? Like you're putting poles in the water and using them to try and drag customers in?
Oh, absolutely.
So it's not necessarily a guarantee that it's going to work. You're not necessarily going to catch fish, but maybe one of them hits a hot spot. And
yes.
They're just bringing people in. So
Yes. So I fully agree with that statement. It is definitely a fishing pole. It is a strategic and roundabout way to do marketing that normally works because of the relationship that person is bringing to now your brand. And everything online is about community building, so you're building a community and a raving fan base around your brand. Whereas if you didn't have an influencer program, you wouldn't ever reach their audience. You would literally never reach them.
I like that you said that. Building your community online. I've found myself in situations where I've had to explain what being online as a company means. And I've basically decided to explain it as you have to think of everything happening online as though it's its own country, in the real world, but a fourth dimensional country. So it has its own language, it has its own currency, it has its own population. But all the rules still essentially work the same. If you're in real life and you want to go network or go door to door and do cold call sales,
right?
It's the same thing. You go out, you say hello, you be friendly, you tell them what you're doing, and you invite them to buy something from you.
Right.
That's a real life sales call. Online, you go out, you find people that might be interested in your niche, you introduce yourself, you be friendly, and you invite them to come back and buy something.
Absolutely.
It's the same exact process. And I think that a lot of people feel that it's different somehow. That for some reason, because it's online, the human brain works differently and
Mm-hmm.
that people operate differently. But in my experience, the rules are the exact same.
Right.
You just have to think of it as being like, okay, we're going a line. We're crossing the border into the digital country.
Mm-hmm.
And so even though like you might have a community local around your business
Mm-hmm.
in real life,
Yeah.
online you need to build that same community, but only it's everywhere.
Right. Absolutely.
Like it's not regional specific. So
Right.
it's the exact same process
Mm-hmm.
as real life. It's just digital.
Yeah.
So that's kind of
Yeah, definitely. And I think that more so goes for product companies. Obviously, if you're a brick and mortar store, that might be, more local and geographic. But yeah, I fully agree with that. And the sales process is so scammy nowadays. Like, no one wants to have a telemarketer or have anyone show up at their door. I don't even know if that happens anymore, but everything is online. Everyone's on their phone. Everyone's still sitting at home from COVID, So
Mhm.
it's like if you're not transitioning your business to creating a strong community and a brand voice and a brand, even tone online, then you're missing out because people will definitely. I mean, I don't know if it's just like millennial world over here, but like if I find something on Google, I'll always look them up on Instagram to see if the product looks cool and if I can resonate with the brand. Like if, my girlfriends are like, "Hey, let's go out to eat somewhere." I'll literally go to that restaurant's tagged posts and like location tag posts and see if it's aesthetic enough for our girls' night. It's so important.
This is something that actually happens.
It definitely does.
I mean, there's a reason why like Crushed and PB, for example.
Yeah, totally.
Food's good, drinks are good,
Yeah,
but the aesthetics are top notch.
totally. Absolutely.
Like when I say good, I mean like it's good. Like
Mhm.
I'll go there and eat, but it's not like mind blowing.
Right.
Like it's just
You're not getting
good.
a juniper and ivy,
Yeah. But like that's not the reason there's a fucking line out the door
Right.
every day for brunch.
It's
The
because their
reason is
branding is
because
phenomenal.
Girls
Shout
love
out to
taking
Jamie.
photos of stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Like and then bringing in Jared Lazar
Mm-hmm.
to paint the wall.
Yeah.
Oh, gotta love this military activity.
Yep.
Hooray! It's like 100 feet above my house.
That's so funny.
Hooray, editing. Actually, I'll probably leave it in. It's funny. But yeah, I mean, it matters.
Yeah.
Like I've consulted with I don't know how many restaurants in PB, and
I mean,
it's
that's
like,
literally why John Taffer has a job, is because he flips restaurants.
John Taffer.
I love him.
What is it? Bar Rescue.
Bar Rescue. I love him. But he gets it. He gets that every freaking thing that you do needs to be Instagrammable. Like, businesses create selfie spots. I was literally just talking to my girlfriend about this. She has a really cool space in Bird Rock. And she was like, "Oh, what do I do with this like blank wall?" And I'm like, literally create a selfie spot. Like, Pigment, in North Park does it well. A lot of North Park areas do it super well. And it's a geographic location where people can recognize your brand, and it's also something that gives back to the community. So people love taking photos. Creating a selfie spot is not only going to bring eyes to your brick and mortar or your storefront, but it's also going to make something valuable and exciting for that person to then share online.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, moving into even deeper into digital advertising, if you say you create a selfie spot, and say you're a restaurant, and every day you have 10 people take a selfie in front of your spot, and then they post it. 5 of them might actually tag the actual location, but the other 5, guess what? They're still geo-tagged to an area. And guess what Google does now? Google pulls photos in photo searches that are posted on Instagram and Facebook.
Very cool.
So if you are posting these photos and they're geo-tagged to your location, you're actually boosting your local SEO.
Love that. Yeah. And you're also gaining way more content creation. So if you're a social media manager and you don't know this, take note.
UGC, user-generated content.
Exactly. Yeah, it's UGC. And you know, if you're a new social media manager, the best strategy to find or to do for that your new client is using UGC. And so are they, you know, when you go to their geolocation or you go to their hashtag, what cool photos are coming up? Reach out to that person and ask them to use it. And then again, you're bringing that person back into your community. You're posting them on your page, giving yourself literally free content, but also tagging them so that they can repost it on their Instagram, and it's just creating like all of these crazy backlinks that's going on in the world. And it's all about creating that community. So if you post a gal that you hosted as an influencer at your dental office, at your eyelash salon, like your restaurant, tag her and have her post that on her Instagram story too. And so all of her friends then go to your page, and you can literally see their statistics, and 95% of the time everyone's going to be like, "Oh, that's cool." And especially if she says like, "Oh, thanks for hosting me." That makes her sound even more cool. And then they go and they're like, "Oh, I wonder if I could get hosted." And even if they can't, you still brought them their eyes to your super cool place. You know, so
that's exactly right.
yeah.
This is one of the first things I talk about with restaurants when I'm kind of updating them on like cell phone policy and social media. Because I don't know if you've ever worked in restaurants.
I have, yes. I come from a long restaurant family, actually.
How many times have you been yelled at to put your phone away on the floor?
Many, yeah.
Versus now, I'm instructing managers to get rid of that rule.
Yeah.
And be like, no, you want your employees to have their phone out and be using it. A, because it's normal now. It's not like it used to be where it was like unprofessional to just have your phone around you all the time. Like, we're fucking androids now. Get used to it. You can't be more than 5 feet from your phone without having feelings of like loss, like a breakup.
Literally.
It's scientifically proven.
Yeah.
Like, I intentionally go on long walks without my phone so I can like train myself to, or like if I run to the store and shit, it's like, don't bring your phone.
I love airplane mode. That's the new thing I've been doing. Because everything I do is on my phone. And, you know, my friends are even like, said you're literally always on your phone. And I'm like, I can't help it. This is how I get paid.
Right.
You know? So whenever I can, I love to do airplane mode or just like tuck it away somewhere. And people know, like, don't contact me after like probably 8 p.m. because I'm not going to respond.
I put my phone goes into sleep mode every night at like 10:45.
Love it, yeah.
Like if you need me, you got to call twice in a row.
Yeah,
Otherwise
cool.
It doesn't even go through.
Yeah.
My phone doesn't let notifications go through until I wake up at 5:30.
I love it.
Like, all right, now I can start seeing all the shit. And it's like this morning I woke up, like 4 people text me between like 1 and 3 a.m. asking for shit. So I had to wake up and just start being like, all right, like, let's get this done before you're at your job so that you think that I did it at 3 a.m.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
That's
so
funny.
what was I talking about? Oh, so restaurants. So we were going off of it's basically a principle of exponentiality. In that, so let's say you have 10 employees at your restaurant, like server, bartender, whatever. And if you have every single one of those 10 people take a story post and then tag the other 9 people there, and then so if every one of them do that, that's 10 pieces of content. And then if every one of them goes in back for 5 minutes, and part of their job is to reshare the other 9 photos that they're tagged in. Now every single person has created, in essence, 10 pieces of content. And you've now created, in 20 minutes of work, 100 pieces of content going around the internet.
I love that, yeah.
By 10 people just posting and tagging the other people, which you can easily just have it all like in a list in your notes, and then you just copy paste it in.
Yeah.
Like, it's super simple.
Right.
And then just go through and boom. You just created a massive amount of marketing potential for your restaurant in one day.
Yeah.
Just based off of people sharing, all within the same building.
I love that. That's so awesome. Yeah, and on that note, another way, one thing I always tell my clients is you want to humanize your brand as much as possible. So with the super stuffy, like, bank clients or financing or SaaS platform or medical, you know, literally anyone can do this. But if you have employees, have them do an Instagram takeover, you know, have them do an Instagram takeover on the weekends even. And, you know, maybe do that twice a month And you want to have as many story posts as you can every week, because we all know this. You guys can go on your story as you're watching this too, but when you're looking through Instagram, the most relevant people are always going to be the ones active on stories. And so it takes 21 times to form a habit. So if you are constantly posting on your Instagram stories, even if it's like a morning coffee, like literally posting it, it puts you top of mind. It keeps you top of mind. And that is so important, especially when you're brand building, because one, it humanizes you. Like, you want to use it like this. Your Instagram profile is going to be a very tailored and beautiful brand story. Your Instagram stories are going to be candid, and they're going to be humanizing you, and it's going to be raw content, And so with my dental clients, I tell them this all the time. We're going to create your brand story. We're going to create some Instagram content for you for stories, but you need to daily be posting on your Instagram story, even if it's like a boomerang of the donuts that you brought for your staff. You know what I mean? Because it's going to be like, hey, we love our people. Like, here's like our little donuts that we brought. Or, here's our influencer coming in. Here's our super cute front desk person, and my brands my clients that I'm working with that are in the, software platforms and financing space, I tell them that too. They're like, why the heck would we need to be on Instagram? And I'm like, well, there's so many tactics. Like, you can target the Instagram followers of your competitors. And if you have a great comprehensive brand story on your Instagram page, you can essentially steal them away from your competitors. And it's like through follow and unfollow tactics. So
I fell victim of that very recently. So I'm sure you're aware of the program called HubSpot, or SaaS, as some people call it. Which it took me forever to even learn what that was. Like, I was like, what the fuck is SaaS? But systems and softwares. But so HubSpot has a competitor that's very good called Spring something. I don't remember. They've been trying to sell me for like 2 weeks. But they basically targeted me based upon the fact that I'd shown interest in HubSpot before, because I need something for running all of the, just the different variables in my company.
Yeah.
And so they literally did that. They were going through and they'd be like, hey, we saw that you like things like HubSpot, and we wanted to show you our version that we believe is better and is more affordable.
Yeah.
So guess what I did? I took a call, and I'm probably going to be giving them a lot of money soon.
Check out Kartra. They're San Diego local.
Kartra. Yeah, they're up in La Jolla.
Yep. Shout out to the Jenkins.
Yeah, I've never actually met him, but my business partner got me onto him. We built a whole bunch of sales funnels through them.
Yeah, love Kartra. Yeah, they're awesome.
Yeah, if you don't know Kartra, basically
Sarah's gonna be so happy. Hi, Sarah.
There's a bit of a learning curve, because the way to navigate their program is I would say it's a bit of a learning curve if you're used to building websites on other website builders like Wix or Squarespace or something like that, because their internal process is different. So for example, like in Wix, if you're building you need to put in a form, you have like a drag and drop, you put in the form, and then you customize the form.
Yeah.
But like in Kartra, like you're building the site and you want to put in a form, and you go to the forms, and then like they'll have like what's there. But if you need a custom form, you need to go into the forms, build your form, and then when you go back into the site, then you can go and select it and bring it in. So it's just a workflow thing.
Right.
Like learning the workflow. But it's really easy. I wish you could get a little bit more artistic with it. Like they're kind of blocky, but I mean, sales funnels are supposed to be simple and easy to follow, so you don't get lost. But the amazing thing that they do is the analytics and the analytics recording is built in. So you can build your sales funnel, you can build your email campaign, you can work in your social media marketing campaigns, you can build in your ad campaigns, and you can literally, it'll automatically record like how far people make it in your site, where people are falling out of the bucket, so that you can catch them with like an email to bring them back into the bucket. Like it's a very comprehensive site. I fully love it. Like I can tell right now that you're like, holy shit, this guy actually knows about Kartra.
I love it. Yeah.
Like,
fellow Kartronaut right here.
Have there been any other programs that you liked like that out that you've seen?
I use a lot of different programs. I mean, I am a total creative. I love Canva. I love
Canva
Canva.
is literally my lifesaver.
I love Canva. Yeah.
It probably saves me like 10 grand a year in graphic designer fees.
Absolutely. Yeah. And for me, so I actually am creating for those clients that don't, dental clients specifically, for those clients that can't afford us running their social, because one thing I'll tell everyone, do not do budget marketing. If you are doing budget marketing, you need to take a second to analyze your actual goals and understand that if you want to be a premium service or a premium product, you are going to pay actual rates for that service. If you don't, it's going to be garbage canned content. Agencies manage thousands of clients, and you're literally just going to get shuffled the same shit that everyone else does. So really, everyone watching, like, take a moment to understand that marketing is crucial, branding is crucial, and if you go with budget marketing, you're literally doing a disservice to your brand. That is my biggest pet peeve in the whole world, because people are like, branding's so expensive. It's like, marketing and branding is the exact same as like building business strategies. You have to create your image first, and then people can go sell it. So don't pay your salesperson up the wazoo. Pay your marketing people what they're worth, and so they can actually create a product that you can then go sell. So that's my biggest pet peeve.
No, I'm right there with you. Because I work with a lot of small businesses.
Yeah.
So it's
Same.
always a fight finding the budget for things.
Right.
And so, like, we find affordable solutions for different things. So it's like, if people only have like a couple grand to throw at marketing, it'll be like, all right, well, you need to solve the social media. So it's like, for us, like, it's $500 just to post. But
Yeah.
you know what we do? We turn around and we outsource that to a posting company.
Sure.
Because that's time consuming.
Right.
And then it's like, all right, well, that's done. But that's just something that needs to be done.
Right.
Like, for the algorithms, like, you just need to post. But then on top of that, like, okay, now you want engagement and actual growth. Now that's going to be like another $1,000 a month.
Absolutely.
Because that's where like the actual growth is. Like, yeah,
Right.
we'll do your posting. Like, you need to actually do
And
engagement.
they provide you with the content.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
Like, so it's like posting $500 a month.
Sure.
We'll post 5 times a week across 4 platforms. It's a pretty good deal.
Yeah.
But then, like, actually engaging, like going in, following people, commenting on their posts, doing your research, like targeting your competitors, targeting your ideal audience, like actually getting in the DMs, actually like driving people to a website.
Right.
Like, that's a real job.
It's a literal
that
sales
takes
funnel.
that takes a skilled person that knows your brand or your company,
Right.
what you stand for, how to answer questions when people ask them, all sorts of shit.
Right.
And then on top of that, content creation. Like, you want to run a social media platform properly, like, you're looking at $5,000 a month. Like,
Yeah.
unique videos, unique photos. Like,
Absolutely.
If you're paying anything less than $1,000 a month, then they're probably not doing their job right.
Absolutely.
And you're just wasting that $1,000 a month that could be spent on creating literally like anything else. You could be creating like a book of value, like teaching people things about your industry and then trading that for emails on a paid ad campaign. So then you can start an email campaign, which is essentially free. Like, there's 1,000 things you can do with $1,000 that are way better than paying someone to just post for you.
Right. Absolutely. I'm going to replay that to every person that is like, why is marketing so expensive? Marketing is expensive because you are hiring us to be, one, your brand voice, and two, an extension of your sales funnel.
Exactly. It is like a part of the sales funnel.
Yeah.
It's if you do not have your social media set up in a way that it is doing one of two things, either generating leads or closing sales, then you're just not doing it right.
Right.
Like you talked about, there's kind of like two sides to influencer marketing. Like, there's the branding side and then
Right.
there's the marketing side.
Yep.
So like you're very much so on the branding side. Like here's your image, we're getting the voice out there,
Yep.
we're drawing people in.
Right.
And then there's the marketing side, which is like direct sales. Like you've got the people in, now it's how do we turn that into money. So like you deal with some of it with you were mentioning like referral codes, things like that. You can see who's selling and all that. But then there's also like direct sales. Like you're basically taking these people and then getting them into like the next step. Like then you're either like getting their email or getting them to go to the website and then putting them into that sales funnel.
Right.
Like there's a million things you can do with it.
Yeah.
Like the options are unlimited.
Totally.
But yeah. So wow. I think we could talk about influencer marketing for just hours and hours.
Yep.
But what I am really, really curious is how did you go from neuropsychology to deciding that you wanted to be in the world of influencer marketing? Because I can see the jump from there, but like how did that happen?
Yeah, so I think just to broaden that, I would say branding, go into branding. And influencer marketing is a piece of it. Instagram marketing is a piece of it. Content creation is a piece of it.
Okay.
So I actually grew up in an entrepreneurial family. My dad has a really cool wine tasting room down in Fresno, California.
That's awesome.
And he is a total visionary. He created a farm called the Pizza Farm when my sister and I were babies. And he actually taught agro-tourism to children. And if you don't know what that is, agro-tourism is basically farming locations in order to teach people about their food, about sustainability, about really the farming process and how it feeds the entire world. So he started out with that, and literally it was a tourism spot for probably all of California, I would want to say. And I grew up on a farm. I picked vegetables, I showed sheep in 4-H, like literally farm girl through and through. But he's always been an entrepreneur, and so he is brilliant. He comes up with so many different ideas on a daily basis, and then he, makes them come to fruition. So I think he definitely had a strong influence on me wanting to become an entrepreneur. And then my mom, she was a phenomenal saleswoman. She was the top saleswoman, in our area, and she was selling TV advertisements for all the businesses. And so she is just a powerhouse, and so I really learned sales from her. So I always had, and then I've always been creative. I have done theater since I was like 4 years old. I've done plays, and I love singing, and all of these different creative aspects kind of made me into a marketer. Like I got the basis of sales from my mom. I got the basis of entrepreneurialism from my dad. I had the creative aspect from when I was born, So I think I'm a very caring person, and so I thought that psychology and doing marriage and family therapy was going to be my calling. But when I actually went to college and had to do field studies, I literally was living in a dorm room with 3 other girls, and I was like, I'm going to adopt like 5 children right now, because I was just so heartbroken by the stories that were told, and I am a Pisces through and through.
Which means, for those of us that aren't,
they're like the most emotional, like loving, caring, and they're just so consumed by emotions.
Okay.
So it can be a good thing and a bad thing. But I was not strong enough to separate myself from the situation and my own emotions. I had my professors, begging me to come to UC Santa Cruz to do their PhD program. They're like, we'll just pay for it. Just come back. You're so good. And I'm like, I can't handle it. I want to adopt all the babies. But, some of the most influential psychologists in all of history literally ended up being marketers. And so I learned about that. And literally, behavioralism is the exact equivalent of consumerism. Consumerism is behavioralism.
Enacted, I would say.
Yeah. And so it's like, if you understand the human psyche, then you can understand, like you said earlier, unfortunately, in many ways, how to manipulate it, but in other ways, how to have a brand that is, really conscious and provides value to the rest of the world via your product. And, as a marketer and as a branding, expert, it's so important with whatever client that you're working with to ensure that you're projecting them in their best light. And it's your responsibility to provide their brand story. Sure, they can say one thing, but so many times I tell my clients, absolutely not, we're not doing that, because I'm the expert in the field, you're the expert in your field. Yeah. Trust me,
if you're paying me to do the job, then
do not micromanage.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, you hired me because
Absolutely.
I'm the person that knows what I'm talking about.
Right.
It's like, if you wanted to do the job, you shouldn't have wasted your money on me. Mm-hmm. It's amazing. It's a very frequent conversation. Mm-hmm. And I feel like it stems from people mostly where they were like doing everything that you had to be doing, and so then they feel like they're like almost like handing off their baby to you, which I totally get. I would probably feel the same way hiring someone to come in and do branding for my company, which, I don't know. I feel like I needed it for a long time, and then I feel like it was around for so long that now people are just like, I like your branding, I get it, and I'm like, oh, that doesn't make sense. I feel like it was terrible for forever, but but like for the longest time, I was always looking for people to help me with branding.
Yeah.
And like logo design and everything.
Right.
But it's almost like hard to trust other people's visions with your own baby.
Definitely.
So how do you like kind of get around that? Because you can't just, some people you can kind of yell at them and that's the way they talk.
Yeah.
But like, how do you, I'm sure you've had people where they're like, I don't really know. Like they're tentative to back off.
Yep.
Like.
Yeah. So I honestly just have a tried and true process flow, I feel like we have our systems really dialed, and case studies. It's important to have case studies. And, if there's a client that's tentative, you have to have empathy for that. Never be the smartest person in the room. You can literally learn from every person in every situation. So for me, if I have a client that's tentative, it's honestly a really great opportunity to improve my sales process, one, but two, my packaging and my marketing to my clients. Because if they're feeling tentative and kind of questioning it, then maybe I'm not hitting the direct, pain points that they're looking for this product to fulfill. Mm-hmm. So, I think there's a lot of hand-holding that has to happen. It's a lot of listening. Like, you need to meet them where they're at, and if they're nervous, it is, often a large price point for people to do. And that is fair, especially since we're in a pandemic, And I think that just being able to work with what people have, like if you have a client that comes to you and they're a really cool brand, maybe discount services. There's never any shame in helping other people because karma is so real. Mm-hmm. And karma in business is a huge deal. So it can always either come back to bite you or, that person could be like, wow, they really helped me out so much. I just brought them 3 new referrals. for new referrals, and so that's kind of how I built my business. It's all referral based.
I mean, I think that even more so than normal life, karma in business is incredibly important.
Mm-hmm.
It's such a smaller group of people when you enter into the business world. Like, there's only a very small fraction of people that are business owners.
Yeah.
And so when you get into that, turns out they all know each other.
Right.
So once you get in, like, that's why they say, like, you can take 20 years to build your name and 5 minutes to ruin it. Because that is all it takes, because everybody talks.
Right.
Like in business, it's hard to trust, but it's easy to just get rid of people, because there's always somebody to replace you.
Yeah.
But I would definitely say that, like, my philosophy in growing my business is definitely more long term. Like, my philosophy is help everybody else around me grow, and in the long term, their growth and success will make my growth and success inevitable.
Yep.
Because I'm with them along the whole way.
Right.
Like, my company is like a support player.
I love
Like,
that.
we're here to help the other companies grow. So, like, that's, you hit that right on the head with me. Like, that's literally the basis for my entire business philosophy.
Yeah.
Is build your community. Like, I don't look at, like, I do cold calls, I do sales, but I don't sell in a way that's like traditional. Like, hey, buy my product. Like, I have something of offer to value people.
Right.
Like, I call people and I'm like, hey, I want to give this to you. And I build a relationship.
Right.
And then over time, then everybody, like, oh, this is also what you do. This is also what you do. You just want to get people in your circle. You want to help people out. You want to keep them in your circle. You want to keep communicating with them. You want to continue to just be helpful and be friendly.
Right.
And then if they're never in a position to buy from you, they're not. But chances are they also might know somebody else that's in a position.
Exactly.
And, like, I can't tell you, like, the other day, I got a random call from a guy, and he's like, hey, my ex-fiance referred you, like, for doing video projects. I'm like, cool. I don't even know who your ex-fiance is.
Yeah.
And I never even worked with her.
Yeah.
But I talked about my services with her.
Yeah.
And then she passed it on, and now I have a great client coming in next week that's very high ticket.
Nice.
And because I was just friendly and helpful.
Right.
Like, I didn't take a check from this person, but they still referred me.
Right.
And that's just the way business really works if you're doing good business.
Right.
So I applaud you, and
Yeah. Cheers.
cheers. The world needs more people like you.
Thank you. That's very nice. Yeah, I mean, I might be embarrassed to say this, but I've literally never done cold calling. I've never done e-blasts. I have always found guerrilla marketing tactics to get new clients. And a lot of it has been Facebook marketing. And it's not ads. I've literally never ran ads for my company. You can actually, involve yourself and get infiltrated into Facebook groups that could have your potential clients. And so, for example, I'm in a Facebook group that's Women Entrepreneurs Facebook group. And every Monday they have like a post about your business Monday, And so I've gotten so many clients just literally posting about my business. And, hey, I can help you guys brand. I can help you guys grow organically on social media, beat the algorithm. If you guys need influencer marketing, I can help you with that. And so there's so many different ways nowadays that you can find clients, and just really kind of being loud and confident about what you do. Even if you're like in the startup phase and you're trying to figure it out, like, that doesn't matter. Like, if you are in the startup phase and you're trying to figure it out, still be loud about it. Like, take any opportunity that you can, because you're building your portfolio, But for me, like, I'm in so many dental Facebook groups. And I've literally searched in the Facebook search bar within those groups, marketing. So anyone that has had marketing as a keyword, I'll go back to those posts and contact all of them. And, that's a guerrilla marketing tactic. It's a sales funnel. It's not cold calling. It's literally like they're on a platform and in a Facebook group to be in a community And so you're also in that community. And so your first initial suggestion to them is like, hey, we're in the same Facebook group. And I noticed a while back, or I noticed recently, that you were looking for marketing. That's definitely something I can help you with, and then you go into your whole spiel. So it's literally like, make Facebook and Instagram your community so that it doesn't come off salesy. People are so tired of sales. We're inundated. We're exhausted by the sales process.
It is exhausting.
Yeah. And so if you're not providing value to your potential clients, that's garbage. Like on my website, you can go on my website and you can sign up for a free Instagram audit. And I'll literally take time and look at your Instagram and be like, okay, we got a lot of work to do. Here are all my suggestions. You can work with me, or you can go waste money and try someone else out, and then you'll come back to me because I provided you with value and it was the right thing from the start, So, yeah, I mean, as a business owner, I would just suggest other business owners, your knowledge definitely is your property. Like, you need to keep that under wraps as much as you can. But if you have a value add that's really not going to harm you, just use it as a sales funnel. Like, you can get so many people just by helping.
And it's just that easy.
Yep.
Just offer your help. And if you really believe in your business, that your business actually solves a problem, you shouldn't have a problem promoting your business to businesses that you think need your help.
Yeah.
And if you have a problem selling yourself to other businesses, you might want to take a look at what you're selling.
Yeah.
And that's just my advice on that.
Yeah.
Well, Sydney, I think that we just blew this conversation out of the water.
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun. I think we covered a lot of topics on just the whole influencing marketing world. I know it's a very gray area for a lot of people.
Right.
So I hope that this helps a lot of people out.
Yeah. And just for those who are watching, if anyone needs, original content creation, setting up an influencer program for their own company, and, really assessing their brand strategy online, that's something that I would be more than happy to help with. So
absolutely. Now, where can everybody find you? What's your Instagram? What's your website?
Yeah. So if you wanted to reach out to me personally on Instagram, it's at Schmall Talk.
Which is spelled
SCHMALL and then talk.
I love it.
So
because her last name is Schmall. Get it?
Yeah. Instead of small talk, it's Schmall Talk.
Clever.
Gotta have a good brand. So that's my personal page. If you guys wanted to check out my website, it's Flossy, FLOSSY.io. And there's tons of information that you can see there. You can sign up for your free Instagram audit, which is cool. And then, my email's on the website too, so DM me.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you everybody for joining. Stay tuned for more episodes coming, and definitely make sure to check out Sydney's stuff. I've been following her for a while. She's really good at what she does.
Cool. Thanks,
guys. Thank you so much for joining me
thank you. Thank you for having me.
Of course.